What's up, y'all? If you're looking at me, I need a soldier. Hey, carry big things if you know what I mean. Yes. What's up, y'all? It's Monday. It's Monday. We doing our insecure thing. Let me get that's better, huh? Look, come on, bitch. What's up, y'all? How's everybody doing? Everybody had a good weekend. Today is a full moon on your ass. So manifest your things today. Act like you got some goddamn sense this evening. Put your crystals out. Put everything out so you can charge them shits. Charge them. Let the moon charge in the moon's strong energy. So it's a full moon tonight. Last night we watched Insecure. What did y'all think of Insecure? I thought it was a cute episode. Next week is going to be the last episode, like I said, unless they've lied to us yet again. But it starts off with Issa letting us know that she hasn't heard from Nathan in 1 week, and she's kind of like, damn, Nathan, like talk. A lot of it was a lot of self-talk that was going on during this episode. I think a lot of people can relate. A lot of overthinking was happening during this episode. We saw, Issa not trying to think about this guy that later we find out made her feel a different way. And the one thing about ghosting someone that's just so grossly and irresponsible to the person that's actually doing the ghosting is that they don't know the imprint that they had on somebody's life or in that moment, just those 2 moments she was going through, like beating herself up, 1 for having sex with him, 2 for being vulnerable with him, but all of these things. And the only thing that I can say, because I have had those feelings before, it's like you feel stupid for opening up to that person, for letting your guard down, but maybe that person was just there for that purpose, to allow you to see that you do have an ability to feel this way about something, or someone else besides Lawrence or Daniel can make you feel this way, and just basically opens up, a chamber of your personality and how you deal with relationships. But the bad thing about it is, now this person that you've opened yourself up to, that you can see like, wow, I can open myself up, was irresponsible with your feelings, but not knowing. Like, he did ask her about her feelings. That's why I was like, that was really, like, it's different when the person just like fades out. That happens. You meet somebody, talk a couple times, and you just fade away. No one's putting in the effort or anything. But I think Issa was ready to put forth the effort with this guy, no matter how irresponsible he came off or all the red flags we were getting from him. But at the bottom line, I think he was supposed to show Issa a part of herself that she didn't like about herself. This wishy-washy person that Lawrence didn't like about her either. Daniel didn't like about her either. So maybe he was that person for Issa to show her, like, girl, you can be vulnerable. You can have these great experiences with people. And, you tend to overthink, like, what did I do wrong? What happened? And every part of your insecurities starts to surface as to where you went wrong. And then you start thinking about other relationships. Come on, I think all of us can say we've had the experience of overthinking why a situation didn't turn out the way that we had idealized in our mind. And I remember early on, I learned that I used to fall for the idea of a nigga and not the nigga. You know what I'm saying? So then you wind up just fucking disappointed by the nigga, because you created this idea in your head, and he was not that, and wasn't that, didn't present that way, none of that. She had all the red flags, you know what I'm saying? But she chose to ignore them, and for whatever reason, here we are with Issa trying not to think about this guy that made her feel like she's never felt before. All right, Molly and Andrew are on a date now, the Asian dude. He is a cute guy. He seems like he's very upfront with Molly, no holds barred. And Molly is not used to that. He wanted to know, why did you dodge me? You know, and she's like, well, what you saw, like when her inhibitions were down, that's like the most vulnerable you can be. You're on drugs. You don't have any inhibitions. So you're just saying, and whatever you want to say, you're telling parts of yourself that you would probably more than likely keep to yourself. And so this guy saw that part of Molly. So whatever facade Molly likes to enter into relationships with, he don't have that. He's seen you already. So you don't have to fake and be phony. And that's what he's basically telling her. Like, and I don't think Molly knows Molly has control issues, and I've noticed that from this man, the thing with Dro, and her job. She has control issues. She wants to control the situation. She wants to control how she looks to other people. She wants to control Dro. She can't. He's not, falling in line with what she wants or what she feels that she needs and what she feels he needs to bring to this relationship. All right, so he was like, you can't be fake. They were really flirty with each other. Seemed like they had a good time at this little date restaurant that you don't know if it was a date, but they had the little, their little banter going back and forth, just flirting with each other. Thought it was some good thing, but again, Molly is very apprehensive because she can't control her image with this guy anymore because he's already seen you, boo. He done already seen your ass. All right. So Chad and Lawrence. Chad is over at Lawrence's house. I guess they just got back from working out or playing basketball or something. And Lawrence is telling, or Chad is asking Lawrence if he wants to go out tonight. You want to go out? It's bitches and this and that. I was just telling my friend Craig, I do not like Chad's character. I think he is the most corny ass, toxic ass type of friend that you can have. Just this corny ass nigga who thinks he's so fly, thinks he's so fresh, will fuck anything. I didn't say all this to Craig, but this is me. This character that Chad is playing. He's funny. He's corny, and that's the joke. The nigga, Chad, he's the joke. He is a joke. He's a whole joke. Just everything about Chad is a joke. Like, he's a whole ass joke, okay? He tells Lawrence Lawrence tells Chad that he's gonna go to church. He was like, nigga, what? Okay, well, I guess I go because there's some bitches at church. And that's true. A lot of niggas go to church to meet bitches. A lot of bitches go to church to meet niggas. So, I mean, what are you gonna do? So Issa is obsessing over Nate. She's going through his Instagram, looking at pictures of his Instagram. She's posting to social media. We get a thing from her brother, like a comment from her brother telling her that she was thirsty, and she's trying to figure out how can she, put some bait out there to see, what's going on with Nathan. She sees a picture of his mother, which is funny because I was like, who the fuck is that bitch? Because I said the same thing. I was like, see? It was his beautiful chocolate mother, and it was cute. It was actually a cute picture, but she was like, oh, that's just his mom. That was a cute moment because those moments happen. Okay, I really like how real that Insecure is. So then what happened after that? So she's still obsessing. She's just like, damn, I fucked that nigga after he only gave me one taco, and I fucked that nigga on a Ferris wheel. Let me tell you something. It is so fucking real, this show. It's just like, you think about all these things like, god damn, man, I wish I could take that shit away. I wish I could take that shit back, right? You think about like, okay, under what circumstances did I give her some dick, or what circumstances did I give him some pussy? You know what I'm saying? Like, what and why? You start thinking about all the things and like how you could have done differently. So she's beating herself up, making up excuses on why he's not calling her, right? And so anytime the phone rings, she's looking. Anytime a post comes through, she's looking. Issa just obsessing, overthinking, constantly having dreams, thinking her teeth are falling out. Just a bunch of mess. Issa is a mess. She's such a great actress, Issa Rae. So Lawrence is at church. Him and Chad are at church. Chad is like, there's a bad bitch there, there's a bad bitch there. She's not that bad, but I still fuck. That script, that part of the script is the basis of who Chad is. He don't give a damn what she looks like. He is going to fuck her. He's one of those niggas that his value is determined on how many bitches he can fuck. And that's kind of sad, but what are you gonna do? Society set y'all niggas up. So they have an altar call at church, and Bubba is the pastor. He's calling the people. He's trying to relate to the youth, to the millennial, and saying stupid things. These metaphors that he's using is just so corny and so stupid. And they do an altar call, and Chad ends up taking his black ass up there. He feels so, I guess, moved by the spirit. He takes his black ass up there to the altar call. Lawrence meets this cute girl. She seemed to be waiting for him. Maybe she'll come to the block party, maybe, because they look like, I don't know. He seemed like he tried to back up from her when she was telling him how long it took her for her to see a difference in her life based on going to church. And I guess she told him about a year and all of these events that, oh, and I'm part of the youth ministry, and I'm part of the advocacy group, and I'm part of this, and I'm part of that. And he's like, I don't know if I could commit to that. That's a lot. So Molly and Andrew, they go out on another date, and they're talking about work, and he's asking her, oh, Molly had a brief moment with Torian where he told her that he was going to have to postpone something with postpone presenting their project because he had something else to do. And she's like, damn, she was really ready. So we see later that she ends up presenting by herself. She killed it. As she tells Issa, and then she's talking to old dude about it, but this is before she actually did the presentation. They're also talking about Coachella, and he's like, oh, you don't remember what you told me? And she's like, no, and this is the part where she's not in control that makes her feel a way. He was like, she mentioned something that he said to her that was kind of embarrassing. And then he turned around and said, well, I mean, you the one sleeping with your married homeboy. And then she got immediately defensive, said that Dro was leading her on. He was like, oh, you was being led on by a married man? Molly, yes, that's how ridiculous you seem. We needed Andrew to let you know how ridiculous you were feeling. And see, these feelings, he only knows. I don't think Molly has shared these feelings with her closest friends. So this is this space of vulnerability with this man, Molly is not too keen on. She don't feel comfortable, like, oh my God, I shared that with him. She immediately gets defensive, and she was like, well, he was leading me on. It's not what you think. And he was like, okay, well, I didn't know it was still a sore subject for you. He's very apologetic. He's very raw. But then he's like, okay, well, I don't know. It's hard because they've been vulnerable with each other, and she's still trying to control her image with him, which it's such good writing. Such good writing. So she gets up and walks out and leaves the nigga sitting there. Molly, girl, over Dro. He ain't even thinking about you. You got a baby on the way. You a damn fool. You a damn fool. And it's so funny because when her and Issa, Issa, her property manager, she overslept. She is waiting for this. The plumber was supposed to come. She has to do her property manager job. She's sitting there waiting for the plumber to do his thing, and she looks on Nate's Instagram, and he's made another post. So she is like, what? He could post what? Somebody getting a haircut. Okay. So she's, feeling a certain kind of way. Anyway, so Molly goes to work. She presents the project to the man, and she killed it. She let Issa know that she killed it. Issa was like, I need a favor from you. She was like, what? They sitting in front of damn Andrew's house with some damn pastries to give to him, because I guess him and Nathan are roommates. I didn't know they were roommates. I thought they were just friends, but apparently they're roommates. So they wind up, he opens the door, and he's like, what are y'all doing? Like, y'all, what is the fuck is going on? We came to bring you. Issa looks a mess. Molly's all dressed up because she just got out of work, and Issa is in her pajamas, and he's looking crazy. And then all of a sudden, Issa goes, well, I have to use the bathroom. She gets in the house. He was like, what? And he was like, okay. So him and Molly are talking in the kitchen. Issa's snooping through Nathan's room, which is just over the top. Now, I can say all of us can probably attest to have done some silly ass things in terms of relationships or anything like that. But going into somebody's house, I mean, I was reading on Twitter last night, so many people. One girl said she drove from Louisiana to Houston with just her ID and her keys and no shoes on, trying to check on a nigga. I was like, oh my God. There have been so many. Let me think of something I've done stupid. Honey, so many things I've done stupid. Oh, I don't think I'm prepared to share that. I've made a lot of like dumbass, but not to the like point where you are going into somebody's house, girl. And don't you think Andrew is gonna be like, that girl from Coachella was here, nigga? Like, don't you think he's gonna tell him that you came by his house? You didn't think about that. She's so illogical. She's not thinking. She's just trying to figure out what the hell happened. She going through his room, tried to break into his computer, looking. She finds his Coachella wristband, and she says, which is further indicating that she's out of her fucking mind, oh, this did mean something to you. No, Issa, people just keep shit because they went to a festival and it was fun, and they keep it for a little while, and then in 10 years they throw it away. It's not about you. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen. Let's see. Inside of the house. Why are you here? Andrew asked Molly, and she was like, I just want to, just say, he was like, you left me sitting in a restaurant, and they're in the kitchen talking. She was like, I said some things, you said some things, I forgive you. And he is like, what? I'm trying to think, what does she need to forgive him for? He just called you out. I mean, like, girl, you obsessed over a married man. But he doesn't know the backstory. Why don't you explain it to him? He's going off of what you just told him. Anyway, she's snooping around. Molly catches her like, girl, what the fuck are you doing? And it's so funny because I love Yvonne Orji's voice. It's like kind of scratchy, and she's like, girl, what are you doing? I was like, yes, get her, Molly. And they sitting in the car, and she was like, man, fuck him. Like, fuck his ass, girl. Move on. Go do something else. Don't worry about him. Like, do not worry about this nigga. So she's giving her advice. It's so funny how you give your friends advice, but you don't take the advice yourself. Like, Molly, who gives a fuck about Dro? Who gives a fuck about that nigga? You know what I mean? So she told Molly, you're outside of yourself. Like, what's going on with you? You're in this nigga's house about to bust in his computer. What the fuck? And that's when she explains, like, he made me feel some kind of way that I've never felt before. And she wants to hold on to that shit. So we gonna see. So she was like, don't even think about going back in his house. Girl, you're thinking about going back in, aren't you? She was like, I mean, I could, she's thinking, like, it's a lot of self-talk going on, which is reminiscent of Sex and the City. Because when Sex and the City first started, it was a lot of self-talk, a lot of Sarah Jessica Parker talking into the camera, like pausing the scene and talking into the camera. It was a lot of that because it was just basically her going through, we know what the premise was of Sex and the City, but it was giving me those vibes, a lot of self-talk. And so Lawrence and this girl's out, they're talking about service, how she's really involved in the church, and he's just like, maybe this is not for me. I get that feeling from Lawrence. Issa again is overthinking. She needs to stop. She actually stops, and she gets her shit. She starts deleting his numbers. She deletes his social media accounts. She just is really thinking. Oh, she ends up accidentally texting him from her and Molly and Kelly's fake IG account. And she accidentally sends it from her own account, and it says something like, are you single, with the eggplant emoji. But then she realizes that she sent it from her own account and deletes it. Have you ever sent somebody, nigga, have y'all ever sent a screenshot to the person you took a screenshot of their conversation? Has that ever happened? Like, you like, I'm about to take a picture of this and send it to so and so, and then you send it to the person you was talking to. So embarrassing. So she goes to this entrepreneur workshop that Lawrence had told her about. She really wants to get this block party off the ground and get it planned and everything like that. So she goes to the workshop. She's sitting there. Afterwards, she meets with Lawrence. And Torian, he walks past Molly in the office. He ices her, gives her the cold shoulder because she did the presentation without him, and we see that it turned out well. So she proved herself. Anyway, so they go for coffee. Lawrence and Issa go for coffee. She meets him outside of his job. They have a little chit chat. It doesn't seem too odd or uncomfortable. They seem very comfortable and familiar. It's not like they're like in a weird space. It seems like they both have, are moving forward with their lives without each other, even though it's very familiar. And we like seeing Issa and Lawrence as friends, right? Talking and chit-chatting. They're still friends, but no one knows like that Lawrence went from chlamydia to church. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't know all of the details of what was going on, or she doesn't know the details of what was going on while they were, since they've been broke up, and neither does he. But I think the block party is going to be like just everything with Daniel, the church girl. Nathan is going to show up to the block party. We're going to see. I can't wait. I can't wait to the end. So he asked her how was Lyft, and she's like, it's fucking hard. And he tells her that he went to church, and she was like, yeah. He was like, I don't know about it. And she kind of encourages him to just find another church. That one wasn't for you. Find something that is for you. And he's like, okay. And they end up sitting there laughing, and we conclude the episode. What did y'all think? Have y'all ever done anything stupid for a man or a woman? Have you ever done anything stupid? Have you ever overthought a situation that didn't turn out the way that you thought it would, to the point where you're just overthinking it, kind of consumes you? Has that happened to you? What did you overall think about the episode as a whole? What do we think about Nathan? Do we think Nathan is going to show up at the block party? What do we think is going to happen? Anyways, let me know what y'all think in the comment. We'll chat in the comments. And I'll have your Married to Medicine review probably this afternoon, later on this evening. And it was also a good episode. But anyways, you guys take care of each other. And I'll see you in the comments.